Now I have the pleasure of passing the mic over to Retail Management Heroes CEO, Jeff Riley. Jeff, over to you.
Thank you, Corey, and thank you all for your time today. We have a packed agenda, so I'll get right to my key points. First, I thought it would be helpful to provide a little introduction to me. You all have a lot invested in our partnership, so you probably want to know a little more about who's running the store. My career spans over 25 years in the software industry, with the past 16 years focused on point-of-sale software. I was at Microsoft for 9 years, and the last 2 of those were leading RMS, product marketing and channel sales. After I left Microsoft in 2004, I joined Dinerware as CEO. Dinerware grew from 600 restaurant customers when I started to over 30,000 at the time it was acquired by Heartland. As for my management philosophy, I take pride in building a culture of entrepreneurship and open communication. And that's exactly what I plan to do at Retail Management Hero. I believe that success in business is the result of doing an exceptional job for customers, pure and simple. And make no mistake, while end users are the customers of our product, I view all of our partners as the customers of our business. During my first month here, I've been focused on reaching out to our employees and to many of you to assess where we're at. What I've learned is that our journey so far has been one filled with hope and promise. But I've also learned that RMH still has a lot of work to do in delivering against the expectations you all have for our product and partnership. Our product has been put through its paces, and we've received consistent feedback about quality issues. Anastas will share some of the specifics, but we have fixed over 300 bugs during the past few months. The good news is that we were able to address so many problems in a relatively short period of time. The bad news is that there were that many problems to fix. Living through a period like we've just had can shake the faith of even the most loyal partnerships. But what I can assure you is that we are very focused on learning from our mistakes. Specifically, we have put many new automated test procedures in place to catch most of these bugs before we make product releases available publicly. I've also learned that RMH still has some areas where additional development is needed before many customers will see it as a suitable replacement for RMS. I've also learned that in several areas of the product, RMH is actually superior to RMS. Different product features and ISV add-ons are important to different customers. So it's important for customers to understand how these differences benefit or impact their business before they make the decision to switch. Customer success may come more easily with net new customers than existing RMS customers. But perhaps the biggest thing I've learned is just how big the opportunity is for all of us if we can stay focused and work through these early stages of our business together. RMS set a high bar for product capabilities and reliability. In doing so, more than 50,000 retailers around the world made the decision to adopt it within their businesses. The value proposition that RMH is offering these customers is head and shoulders above any alternative. We are not entitled to this business. We must earn it. But if we can be successful with each new RMH customer we bring on, we are better positioned than anyone else in the market to have a product that leads the industry in capabilities and vertical extensions to build the future of your business around the world. It goes without saying that right now is a critical time for RMH. Right now, we are a very good product for a single store retailer that hasn't used RMS or whose usage of RMS was basic. With the launch of RMH Central, we will add multi-store retailers to that list. That is our focus for 2018 and 19. Advanced RMS users will require many of the items on our future roadmap before RMH will meet their needs. Some of that will happen during 2018 and 19, but it will take more than a year for us to accomplish that objective overall. So it's important that RMH be brought to the right customer at the right time, not too soon and not too late. And we are counting on you to help us in that regard. The most important 4 things you can do to be successful with RMH are, number 1, be engaged with your customers, not just in being a great service and support provider, but in having proactive discussions with them about their business and the technology roadmap they see being critical to their success. It is valuable for us to hear feedback that helps prioritize RMH features, but even more valuable to hear what keeps them up at night as they consider the future of their business. Number two, be engaged with us. Give us insight to what you're hearing from customers and the market overall. Take the time to research and analyze a support issue before bringing it to us so that we have a better chance at resolving it more quickly and effectively. Give us insight to competitive situations so that we can help you win more business. Number three, become product experts in RMH. One of the biggest misnomers I've heard from partners is that they don't need to be trained on RMH because they already know RMS so well. The risk is that you will assume it works like RMS, when in fact it doesn't. This will lead to bad experiences for customers, your business, and ours. We know we have some work to do in making training and documentation more easily accessible, but there is no substitute for spending a few dedicated days in the room with us and focusing exclusively on learning RMH. And number four, become industry experts in retail technology. If you provide thought leadership to your customers on where technology is going in the retail industry and how it applies to their business, they will be more likely to pay you the price you're asking and less likely to consider competitive solutions. We will cover these topics and many others in much greater depth at our partner conference in August. If you haven't taken the time to register yet, please do so this week. I look forward to seeing all of you there. With that, thanks again for attending our webinar, and I will now turn it over to Anastas.
Thank you, Jeff. I will speak to what has been keeping us busy over the past 6 months. First and foremost, we have remained committed to maintaining our RMH Store Operations products by addressing bug fixes and customer pain points. We have been delivering maintenance releases incrementally every 4 to 6 weeks or more often, sometimes as necessary, and we will continue to do so in the foreseeable future. Although most of our development capacity has been allocated to RMH Central, we have managed to deliver a number of features. These are mostly small enhancements and customer pain points. We have also fixed almost 400 bugs across the store manager, the POS, and the loyalty. It is a high number, but it is really bugs fixed over the past 6 months. It's not a short period of time. And these bugs are both internal and external. So still a lot of room for improvement, but we have been doing our very best to stay flexible and responsive to your concerns. What else? We have added 4 new payment processors to RMH, and we have completed the integration with Avalara. And here are the specifics. On the POS side, this is the list of enhancements we delivered over the past 6 months. It is not a lot, but these have been have made a great positive impact to some of our resellers. There are some language updates, some work order, some loyalty enhancements. This is on the POS side. On the store manager side, a lot of enhancements on the purchase orders module, both receiving and sorting, tender type checks, licensing improvements. We added a new item movement report, and we actually made the customer statement editable. That we think made a big positive impact to our resellers. On the payment processor side, like I said, we added new payment processors, the Sound Payment, Sterling, Iden, and TD Merchant in Canada. And we also finalized our certification with Optomany. So that's a brief overview of what's been keeping us busy on the store operations side. And now I will hand it over to Corey to give us a quick update on the marketing.
Thank you, Anastas. So for those of you who haven't visited our website in a while, feel free to go back there. We have added some pages and we are constantly evolving that website. One thing I want to call your attention to is the RMH Central page. We've started to message that, and we will be building this out as RMH Central gets ready to launch. But just for some positioning speak, you can go right there. So I encourage you to refer people to the website. It has some great information on there. Also, our social channels are growing, so please do follow those. We update those almost every day. If you want to tweet something, share something, hashtag RMHPOS will call our attention to your post, and we will share that accordingly. Next slide. And I am pleased to announce we have 2 more RMH case studies. These are retailer focused stories. There's one in a shoebox. I mean, called the shoebox. It's a shoe and apparel company, and the other one's in a pet shop. So you will find those on the RMH website in the news section. So this is always important to see how retailers are using the software and benefiting from it. So please do go read them, share them. We have a lot more in the works. If you do have a story you want to be written, we are happy to do that for you. So feel free to send it to us at marketing@rmhpos.com, and we will write your story and publish it. So retailers who are on the line, feel free to let us know your happy success with RMH, and we will publicize it for you. We basically do all the work for you. So please take advantage of that. Next slide. And Jeff had alluded to our partner conference. That's the Retail Realm 2018 Partner and User Conference. It's at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas, August 20th through the 22nd. There is a dedicated track on RMH and it's on RMH Central as well. So please do attend. You can go to the conference website at retailrealmconference.com. And for those of you who have attended this webinar, we are offering a special conference discount. To get that discount, please do look at that contact information at the bottom, take a screenshot of this page, and reach out to Alexis, and she'll be happy to give you that discount code to come to that conference. Again, it's the best way to see RMH up close and personal, to talk with the developers, talk with other people who are using it. So we really encourage you to go to that conference. And also, for those of you who don't know, RMH will have a booth at NRF, the big trade show in New York in January. So stay tuned for some more communications about that. So Anastas, back over to you.
Thank you, Corey. Many people have been asking us what is next for RMH, so I'd like to share with you our roadmap. We worked very hard to make that roadmap fit into one page, and it is outlining the big ticket items that we intend to deliver over the next 4 to 5 quarters. I should mention that this roadmap is a statement of intent. It is not a firm commitment. We will be reviewing it every quarter or more often, and we may be changing it. We may be adding some things to it, or we may be just changing the course, the direction slightly. So based on what we know today, here is the list of what we intend to deliver. In the August-September timeframe, we will release a new RMH version that will be compatible with our RMH Central product. In the fourth quarter of this year, we will have application security at the screen level. For example, this will allow some cashiers to see purchase prices or cost information, and it will hide that information from other cashiers. So we will make our security more granular. Also, we will be adding an RMH data import utility then. This is the fourth quarter of 2018. In Q1 of next year, we should see lot control expiry and user activity log. User activity log is like an audit trail, allowing you to see who did what and when. In Q2 of next year, we will aim to deliver a new framework, which will address the current limitations of our sharpshooter reports and the label customizations. There has been a lot of pain points associated with that, so we want to address this in Q2 of next year. Also, for Q2 of 2019, we are targeting a full POS application for the Android. And coming in Q3 of next year, there will be serialized items in kits and cost price history tracking. Now, these are all big ticket items that require substantial commitment of resources. So we have decided to make that investment. But we will also reserve enough development capacity to be able to respond to the ongoing issues and customer pain points in parallel to our roadmap development. So we will continue to make those maintenance releases happen. So if you don't see your specific item here on this roadmap, don't worry. It does not mean that we will not attend to it. These are just high-level items that require really big development. In addition to new development, we will also be working with various ISVs on a number of third-party integrations. Specifically, we will aim to integrate RMH with a number of major ERP systems. We will also aim to have a business intelligence and analytics solution, most likely based on the Power BI. We envision integrations with Shopify, Magento, Amazon, WooCommerce, and maybe others. Also, we will be working with independent software vendors to offer customized skins and layouts for various vertical markets. And last but not least, we will be looking to integrate RMH with a shipping solution, most likely ShipRush. So we will be doing all this in parallel with our RMH roadmap development. So to summarize, new feature releases every quarter with the big ticket items outlined on this slide. These feature releases may also include third-party integrations as those integrations become available. And we remain committed to providing ongoing maintenance releases every 6 weeks or more often as necessary. These maintenance releases will have bug fixes and it will address pain points. Next is new feature requests. A lot of you have ideas what features you'd like to see in RMH. We welcome these ideas. We know that these bring a lot of value. So for new feature requests or suggestions, as we call them, please use our community forums. It is the same place which you use for support. It is rmhpos.zendesk.com. We have set up 2 community forums. One is for store operations, that's the POS, the store manager, and loyalty. And the other is for RMH Central. When you submit or review an existing feature suggestion, please don't forget to vote. It is a way for us to gauge your interest in these features, and that actually plays a role in how we prioritize the features. So that's the feature requests. And next, we will talk about RMH Central. There has been a lot of interest in RMH Central. So we will talk about the beta program, and then we will show a preview of what RMH Central looks like. So at this point, I will pass it over to Colin for the RMH Central beta training program.
Hi, good day everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. Just to chat a little bit about the beta program. Made a few bullet points that are pivotal to what we require and what we want to work towards to ensure a good experience for not only reseller in understanding the product, but also for customer, where we meet the expectations and the product meets the standard expected. So a couple of things we've put in place, simply saying mandatory completion of the RMH Central 2-day training in order to be enrolled to the program, and this specifically around some of the system architecture changes, the enhancement of the communications, where a lot of it is now running as a service, no longer as an application, and we need to just spend a bit of time with you to understand what has been done in the background and ensure that we're able to properly train you to avail yourself of these features and functionality. Desired outcome also then, based on the next step, is to the partners then being equipped to run a full lab and to manage demonstrations to customers that have obviously been chomping at the bit for some time to see the product, and is pivotal to their ability to move ahead with their business. They've been waiting for some time for it. So we want to give you the tools to go ahead and be able to go and show that. The developer team have done some interesting things where we can do a very strong lab environment on a single machine. We can show 3 stores communicating all simultaneously to the central server, and data flowing between stores via the central unit, all on one PC, which is a very useful environment to have, not only for demonstration, but also for testing when we want to confirm the product's readiness for deployment. I think also what we've done is been very transparent with our intentions and where we are with the product and relevant to its market readiness. We're not labeling this as something that you would obviously install, convert the customer's database, and they can go ahead and trade. That's not the intention. The development team and the product management under the leadership of Anastas have put a very detailed Excel spreadsheet together, and we very clearly stipulated what areas are completed, finalized, in development, currently in bug testing, that type of thing. And we'll continue to do that as we move closer and closer to the release dates. So you can view and clearly discuss with your client where we are with their product availability and deployment requirements. We also want to give you the ability in the testing as part of the training to properly assess your client's requirements with regards to the system readiness for deployment, and then within the lab environment, be in position to sign off the client's requirements, let them view what the expected functionality is in RMH, and when they're happy with that, we can move to a phase then from a deployment perspective. Certified partners will also be enrolled and be given direct access to the RMH Central Certified User SharePoint portal, and this will give you access to regular releases as we create the builds and release them that have been tested and ready for deployment and with additional functionality added. Similarly, we will also give you access to additional documentation, release notes, that type of thing as part of that program. If you go to the next slide, please, Anastas. So within the beta program, identifying and training of our resellers, we want to then go ahead and identify as part of that process that where we have clients that are willing to be part of the beta program, we would want to, in conjunction with resellers that have agreed to get on board with the beta program, to review those clients and confirm that they'll be suitable candidates for the beta rollout. And that's in saying that where we are with product based on what we've stipulated is what is still in development, is required, is still in the works. Does that client fit the prospect to become part of the beta solution? So we want to do that in discussion with you. We're not just going to sort of put anybody into the structure. We want to make sure that it's a good experience for everybody. I think, and as part of that process, the next step is to confirm in lab testing that we have sign-off. And with that sign-off, we're offering to collaborate our knowledge and share information with us as part of the process, but also in the same light, give you access to our technical development and support teams and give us regular feedback as to areas that you have questions or you're not quite sure where the structure works, the communications profiles and flow of data is different. And we want to make sure that we give you access then to ask those questions and get the right assessment so that we can then again gear ourselves for the right timing to deliver product to our set group of customers. We want to also then schedule a real-time rollout and offer support across our different resources. So access to guys to be online with you when you deploy, to make sure if there's any issues or niggles, anything like that, that we have direct access to our development skill set, and so we can ensure a good experience. They will be offering as a business incentive to our resellers, clients and partners that want to become part of the beta program, and we are building this out at this point in time, and we will discuss that down the line so that we can get people excited about getting on the program and understanding what they'll get out of it and how it will benefit us to ensure the product is market ready. There's also going to be a lot of additional marketing exposure coordinated with the official product release for clients that have successfully completed the beta program, and you know, as Corey mentioned, we're happy to publish those success stories, and we're very excited based on the Vita program outcome to find some success stories with clients that have successfully deployed RMH with the central control. And you know, then we can start making some noise and getting people excited about the fact that the product is now fully ready for general acceptance. If you will, the next slide, please, Anastas. In saying that, we're saying that we would like to, you know, get as many partners on board that would be interested to join the beta program. There are limited slots. So having said that, we have scheduled some training, additional training for the central. We're looking at the 25th and 26th of July in the Retail Realm offices in Napa. Followed by the 18th and 19th of August at the Platinum Hotel in Las Vegas. That will be preceded by the RMH store training. We will also do some training at the same time, around about the same time, around the IIS link to RMH. There's tentative dates at this point for Nashville, but this is demand based. If we've got sufficient requirements of people you know, that want to attend, we will make those dates available and schedule training. So if you are interested around about those dates, please contact your PAM and give them your details and information, and then we will go ahead and then firm up those commitments to ensure the additional training. The bookings and that is available on Pick a Tick for the training in Napa and in Las Vegas. Again, if you've got any questions or requirements, please contact your PAM accordingly. So very excited about the Vita program. We've had some very successful training so far on Central, and we've had very good feedback coming from that. And I think I'm excited to say that a lot of the partners have expressed the fact that we are further ahead with the readiness of the product than they had expected. And this is all very exciting, and we're very focused and very geared to speed up this process and really start to gain momentum to get this product properly built and ready to deliver quality to the market. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Colin. Wonderful. So at this point, we will pass it over to Anthony, who will give an overview of the software side of the RMH Central product. Corey will have to switch screens now. Right.
Thank you, Anastas. Okay, let me share my screen.
Yeah, we can see the screen.
Okay, thank you very much again. So many of you have asked us in the past, and many of you know that we've been working on multi-store solution for quite some time. In fact, over a year and a half now. So we're getting very, very close to release dates. The system is pretty much ready, and we will be showing it in full capacity at a Retail Realm conference in August. Today's demonstration is just simply a highlight, and maybe you can call it a teaser. So we will show some live presentation and as well talk about what RMH Central is about in the first place. Okay, so RMH Central is our response to something that has been known in RMS channel for many years. It was called RMS Headquarters or RMS HQ. So we've designed the system that's somewhat similar to RMS Headquarters, but it has some significant differences as well. So let's take a look at it. I will go through a few slides and just we'll talk about the similarities and differences between RMS Headquarters and RMH Central. So on the similarities side, both solutions are on-premise, which means that you host it yourself in your environment, in your offices, and RMH Central is hosted at the head office, and each store, which is an individual location, has its own database and connects to RMH Central by means of internet or VPN over internet. pretty much the same way as RMS headquarters. The difference is that RMH Central is ready to be hosted in the cloud as well. So we're working towards that, and at some point down the road, we will introduce a completely cloud-based RMH Central version. But now our design and architecture allows to move in that direction rather easily. So again, each store has its own database, and RMH Central database is a superset of all the store databases. It's very much the same as an RMS. So in RMH Central, it's a hub in which all the information from the stores comes into that about the sales transactions and so on. So this is very similar to to how RMS HQ used to work. And both RMS HQ and RMH Central use worksheets. That's another similarity, but there is a significant distinction, which I will talk about it a little bit in the next slide. Okay, so what are the differences? First of all, RMH Central is a near real-time communication capability, has a near real-time communication capability, unlike with RMS headquarters. In RMS headquarters, you had to schedule calls from the stores, usually 1 hour in each hour or twice a day, you know, things like that. With RMH Central, we don't have that obstacle. The stores and RMH Central communicate pretty much in real time. I will show some of this in the following demonstration. The communication channel between the stores is also bi-directional, which means that when RMH Central has some update to the stores, it notifies the stores in real time, and the stores goes and gets this update as well. So it's very different from what it was with RMS headquarters. The number of worksheets is drastically reduced. We actually use worksheets. You can call it jobs, because I know many people just don't really like worksheets in RMS headquarters so much. So you can call them jobs. And the worksheets that we use are only designed for the time delayed updates. Like, say, for example, if you want to change the price of the item, not immediately, but sometime in the future, you would use a worksheet, which will be scheduled to make this updates, I don't know, on January 1st, something like that. So that's why we use worksheet. That's why the number of worksheets is limited only to those updates which require time delay. And the next big thing is that all customers are global in our system. And but with a caveat, because the customer records are synchronized only between the stores in which the customer have a purchase history. Okay, that's very big distinction. Like, say, for example, if your RMH environment includes 100 stores, and each store has I don't know, 1,000 customers, you're already at 1 million records. We don't want these records to go through all the stores, because the customers may never visit a store in a different region of the country where you're located. So we synchronize it very in a smart way. Only when the customers particularly shop at the store, then their data gets updated. Continue with the differences. We have a new concept in RMH Central called store groups. The store groups, I will show a little bit about of that. But basically, what it does, it allows us to slice the information and share only those pieces of information to the regions or store groups that these pieces of information are relevant. Like, say, for example, if your organization, enterprise, is located in multiple states, you may have different taxes in different states, and therefore, you know, not all the taxes or not all the items have to be shared between everything, every single store in your enterprise. So we can be very discreet and very discerning about what we share where. The store level security, such as cashier accounts, point of sale profiles, RMH manager profiles, and so they also manage at RMH Central now, which means that it's very different from RMS, where you had to do all the security local at the store. In RMH Central, you don't have that obstacle. Store level users will be unable to make any changes in the store level at the store, such as creating new items, changing prices, and so on. That's again, it's a security enhancement that we believe will help the users to manage it much better and retain the data consistency and integrity. All of that is managed at RMH Central now. Further on, we have multi-store customer loyalty, which is built in with RMH Central. So if your enterprise uses RMH loyalty, with RMH Central, you will have a multi-store solution automatically. RMH Central by itself has its own SDK, which allows third-party developers and ISV, independent software vendors, develop their own custom solutions, add data to the database schema, even complex data tables, and synchronize this with all kind of manipulation of data and transforming between the stores and RMH Central. This is very interesting and very different from what it used to be with RMS. Again, we're synchronizing on a logical level, not on the record level, which makes a huge difference, and that allows us to synchronize pretty much any type of data between the stores and RMH Central and vice versa. In RMH Central, we have completely new technology. Just a few words about that. So we use modern internet technologies such as RESTful API for communicating, WebSockets. These are both parts of our communication stack. The system allows a lot of scalability. Which means that we can base it. We can scale it out, scale it up or scale it out. So essentially, it allows to grow through multiple stores, and if you find that capacity is not enough, you can scale out RMH Central to be hosted on multiple different servers and so on. Even now, it allows a cloud-based hosting. As I mentioned before, we will be working to provide a truly fully cloud-based solution at some time down the road as an option. Because of the communication technology, we have a capability of creating a central of centrals. It's a multi-level RMH central hierarchy, which is very relevant in some retail environments, such as franchises, for example. And because of our existence of all these API and SDK software development kits, we have a capability of easily integrating with external systems such as e-commerce, ERP, and other solutions. Okay, so at this point, let me proceed with a quick demo. In this scenario, I will demonstrate multi-store capabilities using RMH Central product. First of all, by looking at my screen, you will notice that it has 4 different groups of icons. And let's talk about what they are. First of all, there is a group for RMH Central, and you will see that it contains RMH Central Admin, that's a configuration utility, and RMH Central Manager. We also have 3 stores. Those of you who are familiar with RMH store site, you will notice that there is admin, manager, and POS. And in this particular case, they are connected to different store databases, 3 different store databases. Of course, in a real-time, in a real-life environment, all of these components will be located in different stores. But for the purpose of the demonstration, they all located on my single computer here. Now you will notice new components. These are RMH Central Client for each store, and also RMH Central Server. I will not demo this particular, but these are the components that are responsible for communicating between the stores and RMH Central. So an RMH Central user works with RMH Central Manager. This is RMH Central Manager. You will notice that its UI is very similar to that of the store side. And let's take a look at the store side. So I have also 3 managers for the stores: store number 1, store number 2, and store number 3 open here. I will be using them to demonstrate how the entities are synchronized between the stores and RMH Central. So let me minimize. The only thing I would like to point your attention to is that in RMH store, when RMH Central is enabled, there's certain functionality is disabled. Like say, for example, you cannot create new items. You can look at the details of the item, but you cannot save them. So all this management functionality is now available only at RMH Central, and this is to preserve the data integrity between the stores and RMH Central. So let me quickly introduce to you the store groups that I mentioned in my slideshow. Here we have stores. We have 3 stores in RMH Central. That is very much similar to how it is in the RMS headquarters. But now we have store groups. The store groups is a logical combination of the different stores. Like in this case, we have 2 store groups. One would be called Northwest, and it includes the store number 1 and number 3. The second store group, Southeast, it contains only 1 store, number 2. Okay, how this is important, I will demonstrate by giving you an example of creating a new item. For example, let's create an item with a lookup code, let's say 11,000. And I will call it test item. And I will provide just minimal information, like I will provide the price and the cost of this item. This is a standard price and cost. So before saving that, I will go and assign this item to the store groups. This is new tabs you've never seen in RMS headquarters. So of course, as I mentioned, we have only 2 groups, and I will assign this item to store group number 1, which includes stores 1 and 3. And once I've done that, I can save it. Now, if I did not assign it to any stores, this item would not be going to any stores. But since I assigned it to store group number 1, I should be able to see this item immediately in stores number 1 and 3, but not in stores number 2, store number 2, because you remember it does not belong to this group. Okay, so that's store number 1. The item is here. That's store number 2. I refresh, the item is not there. And store number 3, the item is here. Okay, perfect. So what I want to do next is to show how to granularly control this item in particular for different stores. Let's say, for example, I want to change the price for that store. Currently, the price is equal in every store, but let's just make it different. Let's say store number 1 will have this item at $120 and store number 2 will have this item at $90. All right, I save it, and let's go and check the stores back again. So let's refresh it. Go to the item details. This is store number 1, and we see, yes, the price is $120 here, and store number 2 is okay, let's take a look. So store number 3, sorry. Let's take a look. Yes, this is $90 here. So our synchronization perfectly works. Let me just show you quickly about and talk a little bit about worksheet. I will not show much of details of it, but let's talk about this. Again, worksheets. You see the number of worksheets. It's much smaller than used to be in RMS headquarters. And we use worksheets only for the changes that will be delayed in future. Like say, for example, you want to change item prices, that would be worksheet this one, item prices on January 1st. So you go through the wizard, you change the price, and you say that this, I will not go through the details right now, but basically what you do, you schedule this worksheet to run before January 1st, that it applies the new item price from that day on. So the similar logic is in supplier worksheet, matrix items, item ordering, taxes, inventory transfers, and PO planners. These are 2 items that actually allow us to initiate the inventory transfer or purchase order on behalf of the stores. These are the worksheets. Now let's talk about global customers. Customers are here. So let's take a look. We have 4 global customers at this point, But let's say we and remember how I talked that the customers are synchronized, although they're global, they are synchronized only to the stores where these customers have actually shopped. Okay, so let's say that is very helpful when you, for example, when you have 100 different stores in your enterprise, and each store generates, I don't know, 1,000 customers. So of course that constitutes 1 million of records, and we don't want these records to be going between all the stores with updates, just simply because the customers will never shop in a different location or locality. So therefore, we keep the information sliced, and we keep only the relevant information in each of the stores. Having said that, let me show you how the global customers work with RMH Central. In order to do that, I will it's launching. Just give me a second. Okay, that's a POS for store number 1. How do I know? Because my database says RMH store number 1. And let me create a new customer and let it be called Jar Jar Binks. Some of you may recognize the name. That's a new customer. Let's save it and run a transaction for this customer. Let's sell him football and basketball. Okay, this loyalty message, I will skip it for now. Let's say it for cash. Okay, so we just created a new customer, and we sold a couple items to that customer. We close the POS and check how it's doing in RMH Central. Okay, so bingo, we have Jar Jar Binks already posted to RMH Central, and we can go and take a look at the history. Yes, we have 2 items in our sales history here. So this customer is already in RMH Central, but not in the other stores. Let's try another one. Store. Let's go to store number 2. I'm launching the POS here. Okay, give me a second. Okay. Yes. Okay. So let's look up this. That's store number 2. Yes. Let's look up this customer that we created in store number 1. We see that the customer is not here. There are some duplicate customers, but it's a remainder of the old data. So let's find this customer online. Oh yeah, here it is. So what happened now, we just communicated with RMH Central in real time and found this customer record. So we select this customer, so now this record is brought down to the store and saved it here. Let's sell him something. Let's say another, well, RC train or something like that. Okay. And let's tender it and close the transaction. So now we will see that the customer is already here. And so anytime when customer shops here or any changes to the account, like say, for example, we change the address or name, this will be synchronized between those 2 stores and RMH Central. But of course, it will not, this record will not show up in store number 3 until this customer actually came to the store and shopped there. Okay, and that basically concludes my current presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. So at this point, just a couple of updates. This is the contact us slide. If you wanted to get a hold of our sales, that's sales@rmhpos.com. Support is our Zendesk portal. That's both for filing support tickets as well as feature suggestions. Also at this support portal, you will be able to find how-to guides, useful knowledge articles. So I recommend you go there. And for RMH inquiries, you can always go to rmhpos.com, contact us. So with that, I'd like to turn this over to you for questions.